What is up, guys? How are you doing? My name, of course, is Midnight Zero, and I'm back with some more Megaman 2. So in the last episode, we took down Flashman, Airman, and then Crashman, and now we're ready to take on Quickman. So Quickman is the fastest robot master ever, and his body was actually built off of Elecman's design, which is interesting. And right off the bat, you'll see we have a life up there that we want to get. But Megaman can't jump up there, so I'm going to show off item 3. We can go up there and get that. Notice how it bounces, and when it hits a wall, it starts to climb up and down it like a platform. And moving on, we're going to drop down this level here. Quickman's level is notorious for his force lasers, which you will see in a second. This is a lot of memory, so for those of you who have good memories, this should be a cinch with enough practice. But otherwise, it's a lot of reaction time, and it's pretty difficult. And we get another extra life in an E-Tank. Very nice. We're almost full on E-Tanks, so if we need one, the time would be coming up. I don't understand why we have fire enemies to deal with, but hey, whatever works. These dark parts, this part really isn't difficult, to be honest. Just jump and run, and you'll find your way eventually. Like right here, eventually Megaman will hit a wall, and you have to jump up to keep moving. And here it is, the most difficult part of the level. The second set of lasers. Quick little hop there, and keep falling. Boom. Keep going, Megaman. Oh, can we outrun the laser? We made it. Nice. But it's not over yet. Geronimo! We could get those, but we're not going to because that would take too much time. And we survived. Nice. It's actually not that difficult. And if you need to, you can use the flash stopper to pause time and make that section a little bit easier. So, for some reason, the air shooter is strong against those robot enemies. And this is the Sniper Joe in Mega Man 2. And first time I fought him, his bullets are way slower, so it threw me off. But they're not bad. They're not nearly as bad because they're so much slower. Alright. One more to take down. Come on. Actually, you know what? We're just going to use the air shooter against him. Why not? Alright. And just like that, we are at Quickman. So, Dex, what do you have for us this time?
Quickman, a normal type robot, the fastest of all the robot masters. He throws boomerangs at his enemies.
Thank you very much. And let's go take him on. We are going to switch to the crash bombs here because they're very strong against Quickman. Though Quickman is one of the most non-patterned and, I don't know, just most random bosses there is. So he's typically one of the most difficult. But we're going to try and get multiple hits on him with our crash bomb here. And it's going okay so far. Okay. And, come on. Boom! That's what I'm talking about! Taking down Quickman. Quickman actually gives a lot of people a hard time because he jumps around everywhere and those boomerangs do a lot of damage, but if you can time the crash bombs well and know how to manipulate them, it gets better. You can also use the Flashman's power, the time stopper, and in difficult mode, that'll take away half of his entire health bar. And I think in the normal mode it does even more damage, or I know it does more damage, but I think it does almost like 3/4 or even the whole bar of damage. So that's kind of a cheap way out though, so I didn't really want to show you guys that. So now we get to take on Metalman, and he has one of the coolest stages. I love the conveyor belt idea, it works really well. And we get another E-Tank, so you'll see we are full on E-Tanks. And Metalman was actually the first robot that Wily specifically created to defeat Mega Man. Though ironically, in Metalman's design, he has a flaw that he's weak to Mega Man's Buster, like his natural Buster, which doesn't make any sense, and thought Wily was a little smarter than that. But Metalman was also based off of Cutman, and why? Like, how can you tell? Well, his Sawblades that he uses to attack Mega Man are made out of ceramic titanium, which is the same weapon or the same material as Cutman's like rolling cutters. So these annoying drills come out of the ground and make Mega Man's life difficult, so we're just going to pause time and move on so they can't really get him. Makes being Mega Man a lot easier. We don't really need that life up there, we've got plenty of them. So we keep on moving. Those conveyor belts are cool. Probably the coolest like conveyor belt I've been in, or been like on, is in airports when you're like walking to your gate or whatever, and there's a little section that has, or there's a little section right down the middle of the pathway that has a conveyor belt on it, and lets you like walk faster. You can do the moonwalk. I don't know. That's just a fun little thing I do. The enemies in this level aren't that bad either. Plus, we have an extra E-Tank coming up, so I'm not worried. And we can only hold 4 E-Tanks, so might as well use one before we get the next one. Also get to show off a little bit more Rush Jet. Now, do not... Oh, we're at full health. I was going to show it off, but I'll show it off anyways. Do not go down here unless you have Rush Jet, otherwise you will not be able to complete the jump. So we just got another E-Tank, that's how you get it. We didn't need it because we got that life up, or that life energy. But, to get out of here, you have to use Rush Jet. No, that's what it's called in Mega Man 3. But we have to use item 2. So, that's how you get that E-Tank, and here we are at Metalman. These levels are not that bad, and we have full health. This is looking pretty good. So, Dex, before we enter the fight, what do we got?
Metalman, a steel-type robot. His primary attack is throwing Sawblades at enemies. Get ready for some heavy metal.
Thank you. Now let's take him on. Cool pose entering the battle. And you'll notice on the floor we have a conveyor belt that mixes things up. But overall, Metalman is not too difficult. And typically people take him on first because of his super powerful weapon. This is pretty much all he does. The conveyor belt will switch directions occasionally, but he just throws these metal blades. And once you get patterns down, they're not really that big of a threat. His like actual weakness is the quick boomerang, but the thing is, it's so difficult and so much of a hassle to get within range to use the quick boomerang that I just don't even bother and just decide to use the Mega Buster. So we almost have him defeated, and I'll show you guys a glitch later. In this game, it's actually possible to defeat the enemy and the level after you've died. If you get a projectile off that's going to hit him right after he fires one that's going to kill you, and you beat him with that projectile, you'll actually end up beating the level even though you died. So I'll put in a little clip of that towards the end. That'll be pretty funny. Alright, let's take on Bubbleman, who looks like a scuba diver now that I think about it. I guess it makes sense. Bubbleman was originally created for underwater combat. However, when he actually started the fight, Wily noticed that he couldn't walk underwater. So all Bubbleman can do is swim or jump underwater, which is what you'll notice during the boss battle. Now, these frogs here are actually really susceptible to the Metal Blade, but I don't know, I'm trying to use the Metal Blade as little as possible because everybody uses it all the time. So, trying to make it a little unique, and this waterfall background can be pretty disorienting if you look at it for a while. These like shelled creatures remind me of Parasect from the Pokemon series. For those of you who enjoy Pokemon, you'll love it. If you don't, I hate you. Just kidding. If you don't like Pokemon, it's alright. But you should like it. Now, I'm going to try and show you guys a little glitch here. If you are moving to the right while pausing frequently on this drop, you'll actually go into the ceiling. And that's because you reset Mega Man's fall velocity every time you come out of the start menu. So you're allowed to cover more lateral distance than you would normally. And TAS people, Tool Assisted Speedrun people, will actually use this to glitch through ceilings and crazy stuff like that, but I don't know how to do that, I can't do that. But you'll see we're in the ceiling, and yay, we just glitched, and we got hit by something random. So, we are halfway through the level, and just like that. Makes life easier. So that's how you do the glitch. We have these enemies here. I'll go back and show you guys a run through of the level, I promise. Because I know that's what you guys want to see. I mean, I guess you technically saw it, but it took like 2 seconds. Alright guys, so here I am. We were in the ceiling, and this time we are not going to glitch through, and I'm going to show you the rest of the level. Which is not that much. We didn't really skip too much. We have another one of these large angler fish enemies that are just annoying. Not too difficult. And again, we have to watch out for those spikes on the top of the ceiling. And we have these things that are falling from the top of the screen. In my opinion, they look a lot like Metroids from, well, the Metroid series. I don't know how familiar you guys are. I'll probably include a picture or not. And there you are. We are back to where we were. Now, we took some damage there, but I'm not too worried because, well, Bubbleman is Bubbleman and doesn't really require much HP at all. Oh, stupid frog. That's alright, though. Ooh, I like that. We don't need the health, but I'll take it. And since we're already hit, why not just head right through there? Alright, so I'm going to show you guys a neat little trick, or just to make your lives easier, I guess. There will be crabs falling from from the waterfall, but if you just create a nice little platform here, you don't have to worry about it. So, just, I don't know, takes the danger out of the platforming, I guess. And here we are at Bubbleman, and we're underwater, you can see. So, this will be an interesting fight. Dex, what do you have for us?
Bubbleman, a water-type robot. Don't worry, he's really weak. Iceman's more intimidating.
Alright, so let's take him on. We are going to use the Metal Blade. This is one of the few times we are going to actually use it, because Bubbleman actually doesn't take that much damage from a lot of weapons, and Metal Blade is pretty helpful. So you'll see, he can only jump, he can't run. And all he does is throw those bubble leads at us, which are actually bubbles fused with sulfuric acid. And he uses them as weapon, but he can also wrap them around him to protect himself. Which is pretty neat. So, be careful in water, you jump higher, and you don't want to jump too high, otherwise you'll run into those spikes on the top of the battlefield. Alright, so I'm here with Bubbleman, and each of us has 1 bar of health left. So the next hit will kill the other person. Now, if I time my attack correctly, I can make it so Bubbleman hits me and kills me before I actually kill him. But because he dies, I'll still clear the level. Let's try and get this for you. Notice how my life bar is completely empty? And Bubbleman died. And it's showing the animation for Megaman dying. You can see the little, like, flashing balls. But it still has us clearing the level. So yeah, that was Bubbleman. His level's pretty short, especially if you do the glitch, and he's really not that bad. And he's really, really not that scary. But his weapon is crucial. So, only 2 more Robot Masters left. We will take them on next time in Let's Play Mega Man 2. Hope you guys had fun. I will see you next time. This has been Midnight Zero. Peace.